In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. To Allah we give praise and thanks for blessing us with our beloved leader, teacher, and guide, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Messiah, the one who is absent but very present. The power...
Turn right onto FNB Drive. Then at the next light, you'll turn left.
The messenger of Allah, the exalted Christ, the Honorable...
At the light, turn left onto US 29 North.
All of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. It's very good to see all of you. I thank you for your representation, Brother H.M.L.F, Brother Fontaine, Brother Abdullah. And I wanted to thank all of the believers for your obedience to those instructions nearly 3 months ago. I want you to continue to be watchful and mindful that we are growing up in a society that is not in love with...
In half a mile, use the right lane to take the US 29 North, US 460 East ramp to Charlottesville, Appomattox.
Of the Nation of Islam. And so to my sisters, particularly, you must be very watchful as you go out. And you must not be out if it's not necessary. And when you have occasion to go out, try to be with someone in your family, some male member who can be a protector for you. There are too many women being raped, too many women being molested. And of course, as Muslims, if anything like that happens to any of our sisters, it infuriates us, and we will have to respond appropriately. So to keep us from doing that which we do not wish to do.
Use the right lane to take the US 29 North ramp. Continue on US 29 North for 7 miles.
Very, very cautious and careful. And to my brothers, I want to thank you for your obedience to those instructions. And I still would desire that in your sale and distribution of the Final Call newspaper, that even though you may see fit to stand on your favorite corner, I do want you to go door to door and meet our people in their homes and speak with them there. It's a wonderful thing to have contact with your people, not when they're hustling and bustling from place to place, But when they're in their homes and you can get a chance to speak with them about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, each one of you is a minister in your own right. And those of you who do the best work in distributing the paper are the best ministers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's good to see all of you, and it's good to see the sisters on a Wednesday night. I don't wish to keep you long, just a few minutes. I've been up since maybe a little before 2 this morning, and for these last few days I have been working through the night, and so I fell asleep earlier today just to take about an hour's rest before dinner, and the sleep was so deep till they were banging on the door so hard. They thought the minister was in there dead or something. Well, I thank Allah that I came back from wherever I was. Not ready for the long sleep yet. And I don't believe you are either. But my little talk to you tonight is on the question of what is the proper response to the call of God. What is the proper response to the call of God? If you woke up tomorrow and you got a call, and that call was from one of your buddies, you act a certain way. If the call was from your parent, one of your parents, you act a certain way. If the call was from a respected member of your family, you respond a certain way. If that call was from some highly placed individual that you wouldn't expect to call you, you would pop up and act a certain way. But suppose you got a call from God. How do you respond when God calls? His call is not like anybody else's. So your response to him shouldn't be like your response to anybody else's call. But the problem is recognizing when he calls. Sometimes you expect him one way, he comes another. So the wise person has to be open for God's call. When God calls, there's something that happens deep on the inside that makes you know this is a usual call. And if you recognize the call to be from the Lord of creation, you respond in a way that shocks your friends and your parents and people who didn't hear the call. That's right. But you're responding because you heard it, you understood it, you're acting according to the call. Right. You hear some preachers say, I got the call to go preach. Well, sometimes they just too much or drank a little too much, partied a little too, got indigestion, and something called them.
In half a mile, use the right lane to take the US 29 North ramp to Amherst, Charlottesville.
You know it. You remember that old Negro spiritual, my God, he calls me. He calls me by the thunder. I hear him.
Use the right lane to take the US 29 North ramp.
I ain't got long.
Continue for 52 miles.
Wherever you are, when you get that call, you ain't got long to stay in that place. Doing what you do. Being what you are. Because when the call comes, you got to make a change in response to that call when you recognize it's him. He's on the line. God is calling. As I studied the prophets of God, they were ordinary people just like you and me. And they were doing ordinary things just like you and me. And they got a call. When they got the call, the first thing they had to do in order to respond to God's call is give up something. And giving up something that is important and valuable to you is called sacrifice. So the first thing that happens when God calls, the sign of God's call is you give up something that everybody around you knows is important to you. And when you give it up, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you, woman? You say, I got a call. That wasn't nothing. They're going crazy. Because they didn't hear what you heard. Nobody hears what the prophet hears. He hears a call. People say, what happened to him? But he decides, I got to make a change. And God don't stop there. He keeps on calling you. And every time he calls, you got to give up something. And the closer you get to him is the more you've given up. Until you come before him totally empty. I gave up everything. And I'm willing to give up the last thing I got. And that is my life. To answer the call of God. Sacrifice is demanded of every servant of God. And there is no servant of God who comes close to him without making a great sacrifice. They were evil spoken of. Some were killed. That's the price they paid in responding to the call of God. Say, well, why would God call me? You know, I gotta go to jail, man. God called me. That don't make no sense, man. I was in jail when he called me. I mean, I got to go back, man. But when you're in jail, when you get the call, you were in jail for doing something that was probably not proper. When you go back to jail, you go back to jail because the powers that be are frightened at what you're doing in response to God's call. Nobody comes to God without a sacrifice. Nobody. To those of you who are Christians, is the most beloved of all names that could be spoken in the ear of a Christian. And there is no Christian that can equal the sacrifice of Jesus. And because Jesus is so close to God, he's close to God because he made the ultimate sacrifice that brought him nearer to God than any human being that ever walked. And he said to us, if we would be his disciples, we got to deny ourselves. See? Give up something. Sacrifice something. Pick up your cross and follow me. So the Christians that I see today, most of them, they ain't bearing no cross. And Christianity don't make no demands on you except you join some of the churches of these fine preachers who want to live by the book. But most of them, man, this is a real entertainment, Sunday entertainment. Saturday Night Live, Sunday morning dead. It's true. You don't have to sacrifice. You go to church, you join the choir, you join the pastor's aid club, you join this, you join that, you tithe, and you go home, that's it. What cross are you bearing? What have you given up to answer the call? It is not one of these that followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who has not started when they heard the call. They had to give up something immediately. Am I right? If you haven't given up something, you didn't hear the call. But if you heard the call, the first thing you did, you had to give up something. And the moment you gave up something, you took a step closer to God. And the more you give up of what God is displeased with, the closer you get to God. And then the more powerful you become, the more magnetic you become. The more you give up. Jesus gave up a lot. And he declared in the end, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. He became a magnet to draw human beings. Why? Because he had given up what it takes to please God. Abraham did not become a leader in God's eyes until God tried him with certain commands and caused him to sacrifice, to give up things that he didn't want to give up, things that he loved. God never tries you by what you don't like. God tries you by the things that you love. And when you love something, God wants to know, do you love it more than me? You're not worthy of me. And in this book, the Quran, it said, those of you who love your mothers, your fathers, your near of kin, business whose dullness you fear. If you love anything more than Allah, then you're not worthy of Allah. So then Allah will try you by your business. He'll try you by your husband, try you by your wife, try you by your children, try you by your disciplines, try you by your vocation, try you by hobbies, try you by the thing you love most. He may ask you, give it up for me. Peter was a fisherman. He was doing something. And he met Jesus. Jesus didn't tell him, you can stay there and fish. He said, come follow me. I can't leave my work. I'm a fisherman. I'm here attending my business. What you mean, come follow you? He said, come follow me. I'm going to make you a fisher of men. Well, Peter was in the valley of decision. He had to decide whether he was going to respond to the call and give up his job as a fisherman to go into an unknown quantity to become a fisher of men. And it didn't take him long to decide, I'm with you, Jesus. I'm going to walk away from this. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went up in a cave to pray. He liked loneliness and solitude. And so he went up in a mountain to pray. And while he was meditating and praying, he heard a call. His wife didn't hear it. His cousin Ali didn't hear it. His uncle didn't hear it. He heard it. And the call, when it came to him, he heard the words, read. there was no book and he couldn't read. Read in the name of your Lord, who creates man from a clot and taught man by the pen what man knew not. Read, and your Lord is. And he told others. And he went into the house and he told his wife his experience. And they believed that he had been called of God because he was a beautifully moral character. He was a wonderful, fair arbitrator of disputes. Everyone looked to him. But he had to give up what was in order to receive what is. And so he said to his wife, to his cousin, I am a messenger of God. And they believed. And when they believed, they had to give up something. And the first thing they had to sacrifice was their belief in idol gods. You know, when you got a God, something that you admire and love and is false, it's very difficult to give up a false God. Something that you find pleasure in. Something that has power in your life and over your life that you give power to. And when Allah calls, he doesn't want you to set up any God with him. He doesn't want any other power in your life but him. So you have to sacrifice all those things to come close to God. Now, I read all these things as a youngster. I went to Sunday school and I learned these things, and I'm sure you did too. So nothing I've said to you right now is strange. What I'm about to say is strange. In that as black people, having been brought to America to be made slaves, robbed and spoiled by the slave master and his children of names and language and culture and religion and history and God, and turned inside out and upside down and then hitched to a plow for 300 years. And when they so-called set us free, from that day to this, we have been in a state of slavery, but it's free slavery.
Yes, sir.
A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master. And the black man doesn't have any power or authority that is not ruled over by somebody else.
Right, that's right.
And our sphere of freedom is limited according to his wishes. So we don't really have life, liberty, or a true pursuit of happiness. So we are still in a form of bondage. True?
Yes, sir.
A form of it. You're free, but yet enslaved.
Right.
Now, out of all that I've said, the strangest thing that I could say was, or is, that you and I, as black people, have found favor in the sight of God.
Come on, wake us up, man.
And that because of our suffering, God said in the scriptures he would come and search the earth for that sheep that was lost. And he would find it and bring it again. Restore that sheep and settle it on the mountains of Israel.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, there is no people on earth more lost than the black people of America and the Western Hemisphere, who are lost from our identity and lost from connection to our own people, but worse than that, lost from our connection to God and from our connection to self. So to find us in our lost condition and to restore us and settle us on the mountains of Israel, it's mean that he's going to put you on top, above the people that rule you. That's his intention. I'm going to settle you not in the valley, but on the
There are police reported ahead.
I'm going to take the bottom and make it the top, the last and make it the first, the least and make it the most. But when I come and make a call, if you hear the call, you respond to that call, and we will know that you have responded by the sacrifice that you made. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a man from Georgia with a 4th grade education. He loved black people. He grew up as a son of a Baptist minister, and his grandfather was a Baptist preacher. He grew up in the church like we. But as he sat on the mourner's bench, and they was trying to get him to get the spirit, you know, he would look at his father, and his father was preaching and foaming at the mouth, and he would be saying, I might agree with this. Many of you sit in the church with your grandmothers and with your mothers, and you know these people are preaching, they're sincere, but somehow they never touch you. They say, boy, did you get the spirit? Well, we're going to tarry here till we get the Holy Ghost.
That's right.
You ain't got it yet? And sometimes you'd have to fake a little to get out of church that night. Sometimes, it's true. When the music would get going real good, they hit you with the elbow.
That's right.
Ain't you got it yet? And you shout, whoa. They said, come on. Some of our people are so anxious to see us get in the Spirit of God that they make us hypocrites just so we can get along with them, but don't agree. Elijah Muhammad didn't agree. He knew that one day he was going to preach, but he didn't think he was going to preach what his father was preaching. And then one day in Detroit, he was poor and raggedy, on welfare, and hitting the bottle real heavy. Like he did was give all he had, and that's what God requires. Listen, now he had studied the Bible all his life. So drunk one time, he just laid over the railroad tracks. They had to go and pick him up and bring him home. You know, he was down. So drunk one time, he just laid over the railroad tracks. They had to go, like you and me, you know. He was down. So drunk one time, he just laid over the railroad tracks. They had to go and pick him up and bring him home. His wife was one of these religious kind of women, like some of you sisters are, and your husbands, you know, they don't care about going to church. And she had heard about this teacher, Farad Muhammad. He wasn't going under the name Farad Muhammad at that time, but she heard about him and told her husband about him. And he said, I think I'll go down and hear this man. And he went, like you came tonight. He had 10 cents in his pocket. He didn't have fine clothes. He just put on whatever little he had that was clean, and he went to the mosque. And he heard Master Farad Muhammad teaching. And as he sat there listening, now he had studied the Bible all his life, he saw in this man what others in the audience didn't see.
Go ahead. Come on. Wake us up.
Because he was programmed from birth for that man. So while others were clapping, he was clapping too, but his applause was a little different. He heard a call deeper than others heard. And when it came time to join the mosque, he came up to shake that man's hand. And as he shook that man's hand, he said, I know who you are. He had given his last dime. He understood, and he went in his pocket, and when he come out of the mosque that night, he didn't have nothing. First thing he did was give all he had. And that's what God requires. That you give all that you have to see his will established. He accepted Islam that night. And like you, he came back again and heard more. And the more he heard, the more he loved. And he joined the nation. And he was given a name, Elijah Kareem. Kareem means the noble or the generous one. And he was very generous because he gave his last dime. And one day, Master Farad told him, I saw what you gave. He knew that he had given the only thing that he had. And all that he had after that was himself. And he came and he offered himself to the Master. Now, how do you know you're offering yourself to the right person? This is very critical. Because so many of us are willing to offer ourselves, but we offer ourselves to thieves and robbers and cutthroats. You don't want to make that mistake with any human being. Because the worst thing is to be deceived in the name of God. Here's how you can tell when you offer yourself to the right master. He takes your life in his hands and he transforms that life and gives it back to you and keeps you elevating higher, 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 and higher. And you know you're going up, and the whole world can see you're a different human being. But then, as he takes your life and transforms your life, that life is threatened now by those that are opposite that life. So when you give up, you now have to ward off the attacks that come.
Yes, sir.
You have to be able to protect the new life that has come to you.
Yes, sir.
Because there are those who would not like to see you continue to grow till you become one with God.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
They'll call you a fool.
That's right. Wait a second.
And they'll mock you and they'll slander
That's
you.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes your parents will turn against you, your friends. But once you receive the call and you respond, and they see you give up something that they know you thought was valuable and they still think it's valuable,
Yes, sir. That's what they think.
they will mock you.
That's right.
And if you can take all of that, you keep getting closer and closer to God. And he begins to beautify you and amplify you and magnify you and exalt you. That's the way it was with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He gave up all that he had, and he gave his being to Master Farad Muhammad. And Master Farad Muhammad took him and shaped him and molded him into himself. And while others were looking and not knowing what was happening, the sacrifice that Elijah Muhammad made, which was greater than the sacrifice of others, caused him to draw closer and closer. So when he was about to leave, he said, "May I choose someone to head up the class? You all have been choosing up to this point. May I choose?" And they said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Kareem," he was sitting in the back of the class. He said, "Come forward." And he brought him up and he said, hear him, listen to him. In words, follow him. This is my choice. And within a short while, he was gone. But he had made a man. And in the beginning, God took the dust and made a man and breathed into him life, and he became a living soul. That was the Genesis then. That's how we begin creation, when God makes for us a man.
Yes.
And what I'm telling you or suggesting to you or to you, that's different from what we agreed we had all heard before when I first started.
There are police reported ahead.
Is that you have reached the Genesis, the beginning of a new life for the black man.
Yes, sir.
And God has chosen this lost sheep to be his own.
Oh,
And he has come now to be our God.
yes, sir.
And he has raised a man from among us. And I'm speaking of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
And that man has become our Genesis, our beginning. There'll never be a return to what black folk were. Even in our madness, we are on a journey up.
Yes, sir.
You say, how could this be? Black folk killing each other like animals in the street. There's drive-by shooting. There's fighting over territory for drugs. We never were like this before you, right? But can you look beneath that and see something? Black folk are saying, this is my territory. Yesterday we wouldn't talk like that because it was all white folks' territory. Today we behind guns. Everybody got to have a piece. What's that all about? That never was before. You're not afraid anymore. You crazy.
That's right.
But you knew crazy. You know what I mean? You a new crazy black man. Now, I wonder if I'm making any sense. You had never been like this before.
That's right.
We never had produced a generation like this before. You knew, but it's your Genesis. Everything got trouble in its beginning. A clock is not pretty, but it's the beginning of new life. This is not pretty, but it's the beginning of new life. What you got to understand is a new nation is coming up. A nation of warriors, a nation that is ready to take their place in the sun. So you look strange and you act strange. You join together in little gangs. But this is the beginning of brotherhood. Start off crazy, but it's, you know, it's a beginning. Right signs, you know what I mean?
That's right.
I don't know what all that stuff means, but you saying if you don't belong to this, you out.
That's right.
That's the beginning. When you get higher into the exclusive brotherhood, when you get the call to come up higher, and you're going to have to give up where you're at on that lower level and come up to a higher expression of brotherhood and fearlessness, but not to kill and maim your own people, not to rob and destroy your own people, but to become a nation of protectors of your women and your children and your elderly. The powers that be know that this is a new beginning. They understand what this is. They used to control your predecessors. Get you in school and control you with education. Get you in church and control you with religion. Use your parents to beat you in line to white values and norms. That ain't happening today. Preacher can't call you and you respond like you used to. You know that ain't the call that you listening for. But you say, Reb, you go to church and you get an altar call. You say, anyone hear the call and is willing to and you sitting there. You ain't coming. Truant officer come. Go to school. You ain't heard his call. Police say, get off the corner.
That's right. That's right.
You don't hear his call. I don't know what I'm going to do with this boy. I don't know what I'm going to do with this girl. Nothing I say seems to go home. You ain't got the right call. It's a new thing happening today. They won't respond except that God calls them. Then they will respond. God has separated the youth from the elders because the elders were called the youth to the same old thing that the white man called you to, and God don't want that. So God is breaking the bond between the young and the old. God is breaking the bond between the teacher and the student. Christ says in the book, think not that I come to bring peace, nay, a sword. I come to put the mother-in-law at variance with the daughter-in-law, and the son-in-law at variance with the father-in-law, and the children against the parents. Why are you doing this, God? I'm making something new. And when I issue the call, it's like that dog whistle. You hear the dog whistle. If you ain't a dog, you ain't responding. Go ahead. When the call goes out, it can go right past your ear if it ain't for you. But if it's for you, you feel it all down inside. And you know it's time. Get up out of this foolishness. The first thing that happens is you become ready to make a sacrifice. I can tell you of a surety that when I learned of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's sacrifice, not of the last 10 cents that he gave, but of the 5 years that he spent in prison, because the white man didn't want him teaching Islam while America was at war. And the 7 years that he ran while the enemies or hypocrites were trying to kill him, he didn't run because he was cowardly. He ran to keep a step ahead of his enemies, to exhaust them so he could turn back and teach them. And after 12 years of that kind of sacrifice, he was able to come home to his family and begin to build on the sacrifice that he had made. And everywhere Elijah Muhammad stopped, in those days, he would take a room in someone's house. They didn't know who he was. He was going under an assumed name. And he would never stay in any place more than 2 weeks. And he would move. But everywhere he went, he taught. And in every city that he went into, a mosque came right up behind him. When he went to prison, he was not a convict. He didn't go there because he was a wicked man. He went there because he would not fight for America. And he was a little old for the draft. The years of the draft was 18 to 45, and he was 46. But they put him in prison to get him off the streets. He accepted that. And now in prisons throughout America, you find Muslims.
Yes, sir.
When I met Elijah Muhammad, I was in show business. And I had a very promising career. But I loved black people. And I loved truth. And I yearned to know. And I was playing downtown in a nightclub called the Blue Angel at 801 North Rush Street. It's gone now. And the man who was a nightclub owner, I looked in the paper a few weeks ago, and he had passed away. And I saw his name in the obituary column, and I wondered if this was the same man. Big cracker. About 6'3" or 4", must weigh 280 pounds. I knew I jumped in his chest, man. I don't know whether I frightened him, because I'm just a little bitty fella. But I was always concerned about our people. And when I came to work in Chicago, I couldn't live near where I worked. I worked on 801 Rush Street, and there was no place downtown at that time that I could get a room. I had to come all the way on the south side. Well, I was good enough to play for white folks, but I wasn't good enough to live. That disturbed me, brothers. And when I heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I heard the call. I don't know about nobody else, but I know this was the man I'm looking for.
Yes, sir. All right, brother.
And I'm going to stand with him and for him.
Yes, sir.
I didn't come, brothers, to be an overnight wonder.
Yes, sir.
I didn't come to follow him for a day or a week and a month or 2 or 3 or a year or 2 or 3, and when the going got rough, turn my back.
Go ahead. Come on.
I loved him,
Yes, sir.
and the first thing I had to do was give up something.
Yes, sir.
And I was tested by what I loved the most, which was my music. And I gave it up. I was asked to give it up, and I did. It was a sacrifice. When you make a sacrifice, you do not act remorseful.
Go ahead.
If only I hadn't met Elijah, I could still be in the nightclub.
Yes, sir. Come on.
When you give up something for God, you're not like a dog returning to your vomit.
Yes, sir.
You leave it.
Yes, sir.
And it's not a remorseful thing, it's a joyous thing to give up something for God.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me carefully. But when you start making a sacrifice, then crying over the sacrifice that you made, you're not going to be around long.
Yes, sir.
Good teacher.
Because you're not sincere in answering the call.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now I had my little reefer in my hat band. I kept it close to my head. And the brothers were searching everything, but they didn't search in my hat band. So I kept my little reefer there. And as I got closer to Elijah Muhammad, I found I had to give up my reefer. Well, I threw the reefer away. That was easy. And I had to give up my cigarettes. That was hard. For me, that was hard. And I find myself throwing my cigarettes away and then going back looking. It's the truth.
Come on.
I gave up my drinking.
We listen. Yes, sir.
I gave up my smoking.
Yes, sir.
And my mama reared me on hog. And I had to give up the hog.
Yes, sir.
So what else, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I wasn't a ladies' man. So when he asked us to give up fornication,
Go past Rabbit Valley Road and turn right onto Plank Road.
fine wife, and she was enough for me.
All right, Father.
And so I wasn't worried about that department.
Yes, sir. Right.
Turn right onto Plank Road.
From there, and sisters too, but we had to make the sacrifice.
Y'all be blessed, man. I'm gonna catch y'all. Assalamu alaikum.